4 p.m. Recording has just started. In attendance are myself, Chair Barbara Bigelow, Elaine Paleo, DZ Riley, and Ann Brigham. Not in attendance are Christine Marglin and Christine Robinson. Could somebody move to accept the minutes from the last meeting, please?
I move to accept the meeting notes.
And second?
Second.
All those in favor? You can do a, okay, everybody raise their hand. Thank you. All right, so we have just a few things on the agenda. The one that I wanted to talk about is just to do a real quick update on the invasive plant workshop. Ann was there. He was wonderful as always. Got some good news. He's actually thinking of moving to this area. Yeah.
Because
so
we
it'll
have
be
so
really
many
nice.
invasive plants. Is he moving there? 'Cause-
No, it's because of the schools, and he has.
That's
Kids
just
who
the
would-
squirrels.
Oh, he loves squirrels, especially the flying squirrels. Don't put that in the minutes. It was the schools, not the squirrels. Any rate, it was really, he was just very helpful as always. And one of the things that happened out of that is, I'm not going to remember her last name, Mary Jo, and I think her last name started with an M.
Buffet.
Yeah.
Yes, she is interested in starting a working group to identify where there is Japanese knotweed along the roads and to begin to take action to get rid of the Japanese knotweed.
Great.
So this is not
She's a
going to
very
be-
good gardener. She's a master gardener.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were several other people who expressed interest in that. So what I told her that I would do is send out an email on her behalf, but I was going to blind copy the recipients, and then anybody who's interested can then get a hold of her.
And what's it? Invasive plant
Like, task force.
task force. Okay.
But it's not, but it's going to be of citizens. This is not going to be something that's being done out of our group. This just grew out of the invasive plant workshop.
Can I, where I have a house in Pennsylvania, they have one weekend a year where everybody goes out and they have someone who helps people identify and they remove invasive plants for a week. They pick a weekend every year in the spring when like I think it's this Memorial Day, and people, they make it a really fun thing. They make it social and people get put into teams and, so I would help organize that. I think
That
that's
would be
great-
a nice thing for us to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ann?
Barbara, one of the things that I thought, so we have our Brian number 2, who is the invasive plants guy. One of the things he said that I thought was so helpful, he said the first thing that anyone should do is figure out your energy level and your time commitment. So don't say, we're going to go to the school and we're going to take care of all this Japanese knotweed if you feel like you have volunteers who can do 2 hours once every 3 months. And so hopefully Mary Jo heard that. But I think, Barbara, that's been something you've been saying of this group, like we can't commit to doing something until we really think about the hours and the time. So BZ, if you are thinking about doing something like that, I think that was just really good advice from him to
That is good
really
advice.
think about like what you're willing to commit and then figuring out what the task would look like based on people's commitment. And also, as he pointed out, right, Barbara, some people don't want to get in there and have the loppers and be on unstable ground. And, so are there other tasks that people can do if they aren't wanting to do physical work?
That's cool.
I think a good model is what the library does, the work days, which I worked on a bunch of those this spring. And it's just a fantastic thing that, you get 4 people come to your house, and with 5 of you, you can get a lot done in an hour. You could just say it's an hour, like go identify an area, and in an hour you have 5 people in a team, and and it's also a nice social thing. It's a way for people to meet each other in the town.
To Ann's point, it's I look at the amount of organizing that Susie has to do for that.
Yeah.
And so there's the actual doing the work of it, the 2 hours, but then all the organizing of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think it really is a matter if that's something that you want to do, and if somebody else on the committee is also interested in working on something, but we do have to marshal our
Right.
energies.
How many people did you say were at the event?
It was like, oh, how many did I say? It was 15, I think, 14 or 15. Yeah. I think everybody who said they were going to come came plus 2.
I didn't see, Barbara, a lot of, well, I mean, it's been a while, but I didn't see a lot of people who were there last year too. So it was nice.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was a lot of new faces.
Yeah, it was. One of my favorite moments, well, it wasn't one of my favorite moments, but this was just a very Brian moment. So we were at the back field at the school, and he's talking, and somebody sort of interrupts him and says, well, why don't we just walk around the perimeter and you point out the invasive plants to us? And he said, no. Because what he does is provide a process so that you can go in and have a chance of identifying them, because nobody's going to remember all of them if he goes around and just says, okay, there they are. Now you know, bye. And so it was it was really kind of funny, because his whole focus is on, like, he did it with bittersweet. So we know it's a vine. Is it Virginia creeper, which is native? No, it's not. Is it? And you sort of go through kind of what you know and what you don't know until, by a process of elimination, oh, that's what this is. Sometimes you can't actually figure it out, but it's really, really helpful to have this way of just asking questions. And he also backs up using plant identifiers. He triangulates on 2 or 3 different plant identifiers. So, I just loved that his answer was just no. And then, I mean, he said, I'll come back to you in just a minute. And then he said some other things, but that was not how this person was more of a rote learning approach, which
Mhm.
doesn't work for many of us.
Well, and also some of them are so hard to identify, and
Yeah.
Is this knotweed, or is that knotweed, or is this a creeper? What, it'd be silly to just say that one, that one, that one, and that one, and then not say, oh, well, look at this one over here.
Right. Yeah. In fact, that came up with one of them that really shows itself in different ways. It was the autumn olive. I think it was that the bottom of the leaf is kind of shiny, but when you're just looking at the top of the leaves can look darker or lighter. So it's about knowing to look for the silver on the bottom of the leaf. Anyway, it was very interesting, as it was last year. Farm Day is this coming Saturday, and BC, I'm so sorry you won't be able to come.
I know, but my
Yeah.
granddaughter invited me up for a visit, so I can't not go.
Your granddaughter invited you?
She said, come on up. She does doing this pointing thing with her finger, like she pointed at me. So we don't get the invitation that often, so I can't.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure
sorry.
who else is going to be there,
I'm sorry
but
that I have to bail on it, but
yeah.
Barbara, I can
next
come,
year.
but I won't be there till 10:30, so it doesn't help you with the
Doesn't matter.
party.
Right,
Okay.
Christine Robinson is going to be there. She's going to help me.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
How
Okay.
many people are coming?
I don't know yet. I'll check midweek to
Okay.
find out how many there will be. And thank you for sending out the email
Sure.
about it. I think that I'm going to start, I'll learn how to do it, but I did this with the last one, very few words, just what, when, where, who, and maybe one other sentence. So that seems to work well. All right, so our next event after our farm day, the exciting thing about Farm Day, well, there are many exciting things, but one of
How
them
many
is
baby goats?
that there are so many. There were 2 sets of twins, 2 sets of triplets, I think, and there's still 1 pregnant goat. So she just might pop. She sure looks like she oughta. Yeah.
Wow. Supposed to be great weather too.
Yeah. So it should be really really nice.
Atlas Farm had an event this past weekend, and they had baby goats there, and it was like everybody was going there and all they wanted to do was play with the baby goats.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
the woman at the counter said, this is the best thing. We're going to have baby goats every year. And we just sold out on all of these plants that we've had because people were stopping for the baby goats.
The baby goats, yeah. Yeah, they're really sweet. We walk up several
beautiful.
times a week and keep track of their growth project.
Do they have,
Progress.
do they have horses there too? It's called Ancient Pony, right?
Yes, they do. They have 3 horses, 3 ponies. And they keep them pretty much away because they're in a separate pasture right now. And I'm sure part of it is because they might trample the baby goats. Because the little goats are all in the stalls right now.
Mhm.
So anyway, field day, have several things to talk about field day. Now, Elaine, you're not going to be here. I know, I'm so sorry you won't be here, but I think
Well,
that this is going to.
I'll be here, but I have a house full of people that will be here. too.
Right, right. Well, I think this is going to be, Stephen will be running the whole thing, and I'm sure he'll have no problem with that
Mhm.
whatsoever. I just want to jump ahead as long as I'm mentioning Stephen's name to the next agenda item, which was about purchases.
Mhm.
Elaine and I have been in touch with him and what he would like, because he was really pleased with our offer to buy him something. And he would really like jumbo speed stack cups. And they're these big cups, and I guess you stack them and you can do a relay race with them.
They're
And
colored.
so, what?
They're colored and they're in different sizes, so you can stack them, and it's like stacking blocks.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
have a question about the field day. Do they still do a field day at the school in June?
Not,
I mean,
I don't know.
When I worked
don't-
there,
like-
you know,
yeah, like
one
the
of the
day-
reasons I'm not that enthusiastic about it is sort of like what I did for years is run field days at the school. And it was exhausting and, you know,
Well, here's the nice thing about this field day. We don't have to do anything.
no, I know, I
Stephen
like your
comes
model.
out
I think it's
Like he's
good.
shot out of a gun and he
Mhm.
just,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and they're running around having a wonderful time. He's such a bundle of energy.
Mhm.
So what
And
we
it's-
do, we'll
it's
have a
not-
table, we'll have ribbons and things to give the kids. We'll have water and oranges, but that's the extent of and we stand there and look happy.
And what are the hours of it?
10 to 12 on June.
11th,
I think.
Thank
10th.
you.
10th,
The Saturday, whatever that Saturday is.
the 10th.
And we do not have, I
Oh.
thought we switched it to the 17th.
I thought that was the rain date.
No, we don't have a rain date.
We don't have a
thought the
rain
te-
date.
Oh,
Oh, if it's the
It's
17th,
the 17th.
then I'm here.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm quite certain it's the 17th because they were having some kind of something at the school that weekend. They're doing some musical or something. And so we had switched it to the 17th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let me just find where my appointment book is upstairs. Let me just go get my appointment book. I have to, like, be absolutely certain that's what it is.
We could look back at the minutes.
And are there ultimate frisbee things happening at the?
No,
I wondered if he would like, you know what we have in our yard is one of those baskets for ultimate frisbee that you throw the frisbee into.
oh, that's Frisbee golf. you mean?
Yeah, I wonder if he would like one for the school.
Maybe.
It would be sort of an activity you could do at like a field day kind of thing.
Yes, field day is June 17th. I was wrong.
There you
It's
go,
the
Elaine.
17th. Yeah. Oh, you found that?
I had both dates, so I must have.
I went back to the minutes.
What a novel idea. I obviously didn't think of that.
So I will be.
Elaine,
here.
Elaine is a veteran meeting goer, you know. She knows how to work old minutes.
Yeah. So it'll be the 17th. So
Okay.
good, you will be able to be there. I'm going to call the Speed Stack Jumbo Cup Company tomorrow, find out how much of a discount we can get on them. One stacking set with just regular discount is $240. He would like 2 stacking sets. I had actually suggested to Brian that we use some of the excess money that people gave for use of the court to purchase something for him. So I'll ask if he can toss in from that remaining money enough to cover it. Steven said he would throw a little bit in. I'm willing to throw a little bit in. So I'm just going to get him the two sets.
Are we gonna talk about the pickleball at all today?
Yes, we are.
Oh, good, because
But
I
it's
have
not, but not
something.
yet.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
okay, I have
yeah.
something to add to that when we talk.
Yeah. Okay, so June 8th.
So wait,
For
wait,
those who
wait,
can-
whoa. Do we need to make a motion to use our money to do this?
Oh, yes, I thought we already did, but maybe not. So would somebody make a motion to use $250 of our money? I think that's what the remainder was, to purchase the stacking cups for Steve and Kara,
Sure.
and second of it to the movement.
Second.
Okay, and all those in favor? And that was unanimous. Thank you very much, Elaine. She is a veteran meeting goer.
We're in with the best.
Yeah, which
the
is
best
good
and the
because
brightest.
we got the best and the worst. So, hey, I don't pay attention. I just, even after all this time, I still don't know the processes and things. June 8th, we have a 3:30 meeting with Stephen at the gym for anybody who wants to come. I know, Elaine, you had said you would be able to come. I think Christine Robinson had said she would also be able to come. And we'll basically just go over whatever details there are to go over. I will be in touch with him tomorrow or the next day about the stacking cups after I get information about them. So he'll know that he'll have the stacking cups. Promotion. So in terms of who will be working on planning, I think that we should have, we'll have our meeting on the 8th, but basically I think the planning is going to involve the meeting with Stephen and then purchasing oranges and purchasing the little awards again and bottled water.
Mhm.
So, and
I think, didn't Christine have, was it BJ's or Costco account, and so just purchased them there?
yes, she did. Let's do that again this year. Ask her to
Well,
do that.
Ask her. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. Now for promotion, I just made a list. I'm going to read the list. But these were the things that I could remember, and then let me know what else we did. So number 1, Stephen did promotion at the school. Is it called the Road Town, the newsletter?
Road Town Reads.
Road Town Reads, it was in there. I do not remember whether we co-sponsored the event with the library, but I like co-sponsoring events with the library because I asked Marianne at one point, so basically, is there anything that this really entails? And she said, yes, I put it in my newsletter.
Mhm.
So I would suggest that we co-sponsor. And I will ask her to put it in the newsletter because it works. I think it works out nicely to have something. Hers goes out a little bit in advance. And then about a week to 10 days ahead of time, we then send out the blast to the town that just draws attention to it again. Does that
Yep.
sound reasonable?
Yep.
And then I should know this, but I don't. Is there an active PTA and do they do anything?
No idea.
Okay, I'll ask Jackie. I'll ask Jackie if there's an active. All right. So with that, is there anything else that anyone can think of in terms of the PR for the field day?
Barbara, this isn't about the PR, but for planning, remember last year Christine B got the it's not a tent, but the awning on the post.
Oh, that's right.
From the library. I can't remember, there was some sort of table because all the oranges and
That's right. We had a table.
so where did
I
that come
I have a
from?
table.
Oh, you might have brought that, Elaine. That's right.
I'll ask Christine Robinson about, was it Christine Robinson?
No, it was
Lieutenant?
Christine B.
Marklin?
Oh, Christine M.
Okay.
Christine, it was Christine and Sicily. Sicilian Christine.
Okay. All right, well, I think that's pretty much it. It's not going to require a tremendous amount. We will not be inviting students from the high school this year.
No.
And I think that's fine. It was a nice thing to have happen, but everybody was pretty happy even with that not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so we took care of that. We took care of that. Okay. Next thing is new members. We got the 3 new members. And
Oh,
one
wait a
I
minute,
would.
wait a minute. The next thing was brainstorming, no cost.
I would
programming
like to
ideas.
move that if I may.
Hey,
That was something Christine Robinson had asked me to put that on, and I don't know if she's going to show up or not. We will do it, but I wanted to, actually, it doesn't look like we're going to have a problem in terms of time, but I wanted to prioritize the new members over the brainstorming, if
Okay.
that's acceptable.
absolutely.
All right, so,
I'm just following the agenda here, following the agenda.
you're so rigid, agendas, mendas. So Brian, I just would like to bring Brian's name up because he, I think would, if we are going to move forward with trying to get money for a pickleball court, would be somebody who could really head that up and with the stamp
What's
of
his-
approval.
What's his
Hmm?
last name?
Giggy, Giggey.
D-I,
G
So
as in George,
How do we
I.
go about inviting him to
Okay.
be on the committee? Like,
somebody
think-
call him up and ask him.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. And then when I went on the recycling committee, I then had to go and explain, I guess, to the select board why I wanted to be on that committee. That did not happen when I came on here, but presumably he will then have to do the same thing. But I think that he's sort of our demographic, parent of a young child. They homeschool, so he doesn't have the connections necessarily with some of the parents in the school, but he's very active in town and he's seen people and he's got a lot of energy. And this way he can, assuming he wants to do it, will be able to then start figuring out some of the things that we need to find out about if we're going to have a pickleball court. Go ahead.
The other person would be, I'm trying to remember his name, Andy, Sam's husband.
right.
What's his name?
And I talked to him at the library and he was interested. He's a runner.
Yeah, what's his last name?
I don't know.
They live on Baker and
Mhm.
You
Sam,
know, Eric?
Sam works at the library.
His wife works at the library. Her name is Sam.
Yep,
We could
live-
call Mary Ann, we could get it.
okay.
I want to go back to what Anne said last time, which is that one thing that tends to happen with committees is that the people get asked who are already known, and there may be other people out there, and how do we reach them? So that it's not always the same people who are involved in town affairs. Yeah. Elaine?
Well, if you're going to be at town meeting, which unfortunately I am not, but if you're going to be at town meeting, there is a time in the beginning where you can do announcements from the committees, and you could announce that we have these 3 openings and that we're looking for people who would want to fill them.
That's a great
and
idea.
Tell
Yeah.
them to get in touch with us.
I will
And-
not be there either. Anne, would you be willing to do that?
I'm
Are you
not
gonna be-
sure if I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm
know,
not-
I'm gonna
PC.
try, I just have a,
I wasn't planning on going because there isn't anything that's vital to vote on, and I'm making sandwiches and delivering them, but
Yeah, I
Um,
cannot go. I'm going to be at a wedding in Virginia. So
I'm going to
I'm-
be at
I'm-
a memorial in Rochester.
yeah, I also have a memorial possibly, so
okay.
maybe Christine Robinson's gonna go. She usually goes.
Yeah,
Okay. I can ask
Maybe I
her.
could get my husband to make the announcement.
Oh, that would be
There you
good.
go.
Eric. I'll talk him into it later.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. Now,
Um,
do we want to, let me just, because do we want to make the announcement that there's 3 positions, or do you want me to go ahead and ask Brian, given that he's the one who originally approached us about
then-
wanting to be involved?
And say that there's 2. I mean, if he wants to be, sure, let him. I mean, he approached us.
Yeah,
We
Anne,
didn't
how do you
want
feel
him.
about that?
Or we could say there's 3 and then he fills one of them.
Mhm.
yeah, either way. I don't think it
Okay.
matters.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just thinking about the conversation that opened this meeting, and if we really want to be by the book and somebody finds out that we were awarded 3, but we're only announcing there's 2, is somebody gonna,
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
I don't know.
I don't either, Barbara. But
Yeah.
Somebody
never know
might
these
sue
days,
us in
what-
this town. We might have a
what people-
lawsuit on our hands.
I mean, somebody pointed out last time, we probably don't need to worry about a huge groundswell of people. That
Yeah.
an issue is
No.
getting people to be on committees.
Can we say
But-
they have to be under 40 years old to join the committee?
We probably can't say that.
We can say we
But that-
encourage.
Age diversity.
Well, we'll have to work on the wording of that
Yeah.
one, because that is an issue. I guess we don't
Mhm.
have a lot of time to work on that, but we would really like to have people on the committee who kind of represent the people we're aiming programs at.
Mhm.
And many of these programs are for, they're for all ages, but,
Yeah.
certainly it's a wonderful opportunity for somebody who, has younger children or who is younger. I don't know how to put it, but it's not saying that others can't do it. It's just saying that this is, do you want me to draft something? And
Somebody
send
who
it
has
in?
an active family.
Yeah.
I got lots of dogs.
And Barbara, also, is there a contact? Whoever shares this at town meeting, how would?
That I would be
if
the
we're interested-
contact, the recreation committee,
So the
email address, yeah.
email?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll draft a little thing. I'll draft a request. In the meantime, can I ask Brian if he has an interest?
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, draft a request for,
And he could head up the pickleball division of the recreation.
Mhm.
committee.
you got it. Because that's the other thing. It would be nice to have somebody who could head up the community garden part of it too.
Yeah.
Because those are kind of going to be spin-offs.
Yeah.
We're not going to run the community garden as a committee.
Mhm.
We're
No,
not going to
we need a
run.
we need a young person to do that.
Yes,
Because that's going to be a really physically, demanding thing that
yes,
Mhm.
much as I want to support it, I don't think my body could take it.
yes,
We
exactly.
need someone with a certain amount of time too.
Mhm.
But that would be good to mention,
I
that
will
one of
mention
the
it.
upcoming projects is the community garden, so.
The
people
pickleball
are-
courts, yeah, that
people
should be in
interested
the,
in-
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, I will work those in and I will circulate a draft, I guess, this week, because that's coming up quickly, isn't it? June feels like it should be so far away.
I know.
Okay, so that's that. Now, actually, I'm gonna still hold off on the brainstorming and go to the pickleball. So it sounds like the fire station is perfectly fine to have what?
The fire department does not own the property.
I know, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh.
yeah. No, they don't know but there wouldn't be, we had actually been talking about it in this committee about what the problems would be with having
Oh.
it back there. And those problems don't exist in terms of parking. I think the parking was the one that we were really most concerned about. But now there is the issue of they don't own the property. We don't know whether or not that's wetlands. And there's now a whole series of things that have to be dealt with before we can move ahead with
So,
any location.
so what did they say about, I'm surprised that they didn't have trouble with the parking. Where are they gonna park? In the back?
I don't know.
Maybe he's more relaxed about it.
Maybe parked on the grass in the back and be
Yeah.
out of people's way.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what Leverett is doing?
For outdoor pickleball courts, yes.
Yeah, and I think this is a really good temporary measure, is that they bought a plastic, a big sort of bin that has a lock on it, has a lid and a lock, and they put in that the pickleball net, the lines to,
Mhm.
there's, you can buy a kit, like you can
Right, I've
buy
got the
something.
kit, yeah.
Yeah, and they have it at the elementary school by their basketball court. And so if you become a member of the pickleball teams, you get the combination to the lock, and you
Mhm.
just set it up on the basketball court. There's no outside net, but they said people are playing all the time. And so
Okay.
we could do that at the
Wow.
elementary school where the
Mhm.
the basketball
Wow.
courts are. You just put they could just put it there, and we'd have to, it would cost some money to get it, but I don't think it's not going to be like putting down a paved, surface, and they could play, and all summer long you could play there.
Yeah,
Maybe we could ask people to even chip in $5 each to
Yeah.
get the combination.
Right. Yeah, to get the combination, and then you have access, and you can just go with 4 players and set it up whenever you want. I mean,
Mhm.
there's, the school, there's nothing happening at the school that would, mean you couldn't do it then. So, I mean, that's what they do at Leverett. So I
So do
thought
they
that was
do-
a good solution
do-
for a temporary kind of thing.
it's a great, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
do they do it off school hours? Is it just weekends and summer?
I
Because
don't know that they're playing now, so they must play when the school isn't in session, obviously.
yeah, but
So it
they
must
have,
be after,
You know what,
after
I can
school
find out, the woman
Yeah.
who spearheaded all of this, Liz Etheridge, she and I are in contact periodically, and she sent me an email today. I sent her back an email, but we couldn't find a time to talk. So I will talk with Liz about how,
very cool.
yes, how she's
so
done this.
they could have it there's all this momentum. You sort of don't want to lose the momentum of people being all excited about it.
That's right.
So, I think,
Yeah, that's nice too, because then it's not reliant on somebody from the rec committee.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's just there and they can set it up, and it seems to work really well. So I have a friend who's
Good.
doing it and says it's really fun, and
Great.
Barbara, are you taking on too many things? Do you want somebody else to?
I'm going to ask Brian to take that on. I'm not
Oh,
going to take
okay.
it on. No, this is not recreation committee business. I am not going to do it. Thank you for being protective. But absolutely, no, because I can't play. I sat there all winter long, and it was social and nice, but pickleball is not going to be my thing.
and why
So
can't you play? I forget.
because I have a very bad knee, bad arthritis
Oh.
in my knee. Plus, quite frankly, I don't like games like that.
Well,
I don't
okay then.
like,
Just so you
I'm
know,
not
too-
that competitive. I like to bat balls back and forth. Like I love batting a badminton, a birdie back and forth. But as soon as the game starts, it's like I lose interest.
As a
Uh-huh.
fan, Barbara's a big trash talker. I just want
That's funny.
Yeah.
See, I only like activities that have a ball in them. I don't like, biking or climbing or running, but put a ball in there, then I'll run, then I'll.
See, look at the
like
variety
Labrador
among
in
us.
former life or something.
So if I figure out a way to involve a ball with rock climbing, you'll come rock
I'll
climbing.
come, yes, absolutely. Could we
You
bat
can
it?
juggle on your bike.
I like that.
There you go. It takes a village, right? We all got our
Right.
thing.
No, what I'm gonna do is I was gonna talk with Liz anyway. And so I will talk with Liz and then I will have her talk with Brian because this has nothing to do with us.
Good.
It's not
good.
something we have to do. Liz, in
No.
fact, I actually. when I
Although
was
it makes us look good. I
Well,
will say.
But we're gonna continue to,
I know,
to
but-
promote it and to let people know about it.
Yeah, but if it's
and,
already
you know,
happening, it's like, look what the rec committee's doing. And even though we're not really doing it,
Right,
that people will think we're
So-
doing something.
So
exactly.
cycling back on that then, just a thought, new members, when can we get new members? Because you're right, if this is something that Brian wants to do and is willing to do, why don't we as the rec committee take credit for it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so why can't he? do-
Okay, well, here's why I did not want the rec committee involved.
Okay,
Because we have to follow open meeting laws. There were a tremendous number of decisions that had to be made. What decisions have to come back to a committee and what decisions, like who gets the key, who talks to whom? It just was
you got
like,
it.
yeah, oh, thank you. Okay,
Okay,
Yeah. yeah.
So you
I mean,
can't have
we-
a subdivision of a committee that would make decisions without.
I don't know.
Out following the open meeting laws, BC?
Well, that they could have their subdivision of this committee and have their open meeting, follow open meeting laws when they meet, but doesn't mean that we would all have to be at that meeting.
But a lot of the decisions that got made were like, things were changing week to week. And so you constantly have to set up a meeting,
Mm.
you have to get it in 3 days ahead of
Yeah.
time. You have to have the agenda, all of that stuff. Whereas this was just Brian and me talking back and forth. There are people who were at the pickleball game would just be saying, oh, we should try this. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. So things just kind of,
Yeah, organically.
it's organic. Yeah. And I think that
That's
if we
good.
do a hard court, that changes everything.
Mhm.
Then we will need to be involved.
Mhm.
okay,
But right now, we're talking about slapping these little plasticky things down that that define where a court is, picking
Yeah.
them up at the end and throwing them in a bin.
Right.
We don't-
don't you hear how much she loves this?
But she went and watched them play all winter long.
It was just really pleasant. People were so nice. I'm going to tell you how nice everybody was.
You know what? We're gonna see Barbara over there watching them play at the elementary school. She's gonna be her lawn
That's
chair and
right.
sit out and watch them.
Yeah, she's gonna be trash talking, BC.
That's right. I did do some of that. I mean, I couldn't help myself. But oopsie. But here's how nice they are. There were some, wait a second. I lost, there we go. There were some really good players. And initially the way we had it set up was the first hour were for beginner players and the second hour was for more advanced players. Then people just wanted to start staying for the whole 2 hours. People were coming and going. And we thought, okay, well, let's let them. And then the players self-organized. And the self-organizing was people would just rotate in and out of the games, irregardless of skill level. So every once in a while, you would have a game with like really hot shot players in it who were out there killing each other. And then in the next game, there'd be two people who would rotate in who didn't really quite know what they were doing. But the more advanced players were so nice and supportive and helpful to the less advanced players. And so even though you had this wide range of abilities, everybody was having fun.
Mm.
It was fantastic. It was just
Yeah.
it
What
was
happens with ball sports, that's what happens when you put a ball in a sport.
Oh, I don't think so.
Uh,
That's why
That's
Wimbledon's so
sarcastic.
laid back. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so and just a question, let me just see what how we're doing on time. Just a question I wanted to kind of throw out. And could we, in getting a hard court, would it make sense to collaborate with Leverett, or is collaboration with another town just not a thing?
Boy, I wonder if there would be any insurance liability issues and maintenance issues. Yeah. And where would it be? Would it be in Leverett or would it be in Shutesbury?
Whoever has the best location, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I kind
we're
of
better
figured it
off.
wasn't, but I
Yeah.
thought I would just, what I wrote was, do we collaborate? Is that even a thing? And
Guess
sounds
not.
like sounds like it's not. All right,
Well,
Brian is currently
Unless
out
the
on,
cost is so extreme
yeah,
to do it, then you
Yeah.
might actually think about, combining the two
Mhm.
towns as
yeah.
a possibility.
Well, once we get, hopefully Brian will want to be on the committee. I started doing just a little bit of, just a little research on how other towns got their pickleball courts funded. And one of the ways was through AARP has a small grant giving.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's older people who play. So there are these
Mhm.
sources of money through senior citizen kind of places like AARP that you'd be able to go and get money for. And I found several, not necessarily in Massachusetts, but towns here and about in the country that use some of these funds to create pickleball courts. And they were usually then associated with their senior center or something. Now, we don't have a senior center,
We have
but
a council on aging.
we have a council on
Oh,
aging.
right.
So I
Yeah.
think that we might want to, at some point, as we move along with this, talk to them about collaborating on this. I think,
I like
we-
that idea.
yeah. And there will be sources other than the Community Preservation Act money that we would be able to turn to use.
Mhm.
So,
Great
yeah.
idea.
yeah. So my guess is that's going to be the way to proceed. But for right now, I mean, I don't know what the steps are, but it seems like the first thing we need to do is find out whether or not there's a location where we'd actually be able to put it
Mm.
before we move forward with it, because if there isn't, it's a moot point.
Yeah,
So-
I would say that if you really want to find out about how to put something behind the fire station, you would first, I guess, go to the select board
Okay.
Oh,
to ask them, or Becky, and just say,
Mhm.
you know, who owns it? How do we? Because remember with the library, we had to go to town meeting to be able to cite it
Mm.
on the lot, and and with the community garden, we had to go to the town meeting to cite it. So that's the kind of thing that,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if there's restrictions on that land, or who knows.
Well,
Yeah.
they had that horse corral there.
Yeah.
And Lenny was here doing a work day, and I was talking to him about it, and he said he would love for that fence to come down because kids climb on it. He said it's very rotten and somebody's
Mhm.
gonna get hurt. And he said that is very flat there, and so it would be a perfect place to put it.
Yep.
And so maybe you just drive back there and park back there.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
not a wetlands because it's a very, sandy, dry.
Be careful what you say.
That's
Well,
right.
anyway, I don't know. They did have a, town activity that they put in down there. So I don't know. I mean, at some point it was cleared for, a horse ring. So I don't know.
Mhm. And when there was a baseball field there too.
Yes.
Hmm.
And we played soccer there with the kids. Remember? We would
Yep.
play with our kids there on,
Yep. And we
Sunday
played
morning.
football there too.
yeah.
It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unused
Well-
property.
We'll, over the course of the summer, get more information about this, find out who we need to talk to, and what the order of things have to be. That is, clearly, before we can ask for money, we have to know that we can actually build one. So,
Right.
yeah.
Good point.
All right. Well, I think that getting Brian on this is going to be helpful. He's very much, he's a very can-do kind of person. He just, and I think that once he's on the committee, it'll be helpful, because I was a little worried about, I wanted to make sure that he was really representing us in the town when he's talking to people. And now he is, and that, or now he will be, so that will be good. Okay, so brainstorming no cost programming ideas. We have about 12 minutes. Christine did not share with me what the ideas were that she had, so I can't speak for her. I know we had quite a laundry list some time ago. Any ideas that we come up with, I think have to be things that are not gonna, that we have the time and the energy for. We always have to remember that energy thing.
Mhm.
I actually have an idea. I can just throw an idea out. And that would be to collaborate with all 3 members of the Open Space Committee and once a month, just sponsor a walk somewhere.
That was my idea too.
No, that was my idea.
See,
Sorry.
see, yeah, you can see, can you see the trash talker that is underneath the surface there?
Get that
you
in
see
the
the-
minutes, Elaine, get that in. the
I know.
minutes.
Thank you, BZ. She's very aggressive.
I wouldn't want her playing pickleball.
Maybe
Good
she's better
point.
off in the stands.
That's good, yeah, let her climb up the wall, that's better for her.
Well, people believe it's accidental when the racket flies out of my hand and hits them. Let them believe what they want to believe.
Uh,
So,
That's a nice idea.
Sorry, anyway, Barbara, I think that's a great, obviously, I think.
I
that's
think it's a,
great
yeah,
because-
and well, great minds think alike.
Mm.
Perhaps you and I should talk about how to get the ball rolling on that one then. And it could just be like
Ball rolling.
once every, what?
Yeah,
Oh,
Beezy will get involved
we
then.
want BZ to come, right?
One thing I do remember when we talked a long time ago about doing, a regular walk, and
Mhm.
Mary Ann got wind of it, she got a little like nicely, but I mean, I had a conversation with her and she said, just so you know, I'm very possessive. And so she saw that as something she did with the library. Remember, she was doing those Tuesday afternoon walks.
Mm.
Mhm.
Hosting a regular walk and hosting a monthly hike aren't necessarily the same thing,
Right.
but
And that was during COVID, and it was basically walking Wendell Road, which
yeah,
I'm sorry, but that is not a desirable place to walk.
yeah. Yeah. But I just don't know courtesy wise, if we just
Oh,
want to
just-
give her
yeah.
a heads up,
That's-
like this is something we're thinking of and.
Yeah.
How about calling them a woods walk instead of a hike, a woods walk?
A tick walk,
I know.
who gets to collect the most ticks gets an award at the end.
I love it.
Oh,
Having somebody talk about ticks would be really interesting,
Yes, it would be.
you know. I don't know if there's somebody who could give a, educated talk about why they're, seem to be exploding, and it seems to be everybody's talking about it. And if they're gonna have a woods walk, we definitely need
Yes.
to have people be protected or whatever.
Mhm.
be our version of TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, very clever.
Oh,
Like that.
oh, that was so clever. It took me a while because I was just thinking TICK, TALK. I'm thinking, oh, that's very alliterative. Oh, TikTok. Wonderful.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that sounds like something, talk with Mary Ann and with Gail about it. And then, maybe it wouldn't even be once a month. Maybe it would be once every
Mhm.
2 months. So everybody's kind of committing to do one each year.
Or
That's
every season have a fall walk, a winter walk,
perfect. Yeah. Uh-huh.
spring and a summer.
Yeah. Are there other ideas that
Hmm.
people have that want to throw out? No cost ideas and that you'd
Well,
have
I
some.
wondered,
Yeah, go ahead.
what
Yeah.
about collaborating with the garden club around, they do a lot of things in town that, I know they, I mean, they do all the flowers around town hall and around the berm in front of the, and I think the library too, and I don't know, I just wondered if it would be good to collaborate with them on something, so.
Mhm.
Because they seem to need help on some of these things and maybe, and again, we wouldn't have to invent some, they're already doing things, I guess, so
Mhm.
just supporting what they're already doing.
Mhm.
And I would like to get them, if we ever get this community garden thing going, I would think it'd be really good to have them, that we have a relationship with them already.
Yes.
So anyway, just a thought. I just thought they would be sort of like the open space and walks and garden club and the community gardens.
Mhm.
And they know a lot about, soil and,
BZ, didn't you say in an earlier meeting that the garden club used to do a Shutesbury garden tour of some kind?
yes, they did. They've done a
I would
couple.
love that.
Yeah. So maybe we could help them do that.
Mm.
I'd be into that, helping do that. Not that I want to come to my garden, but there are plenty of great gardens in town. So
Mm.
yeah, that's a great idea. And I think we
Yeah,
should-
I'd be happy to work with you on that. I mean, even if
Yeah.
it's like one of those, you provide a map and people know between these hours, you can go, on
Right.
your own. Those are always really fun.
Yep, I agree.
Wasn't there, you reminded me of, if it be a garden a garden tour, I mean, wasn't there an art tour?
Yes, there was. I
Yes,
went on
that
it.
was really nice.
I saw you there, Barbara. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it was, but it wasn't well attended.
Really?
No, they did not get a good turnout
Oh,
for it.
Maybe it was a matter of advertising.
It might have been, I don't really remember who organized it, but it wasn't well advertised is, I think what. Yeah, I went to a couple different, Merrill was on one, Merrill
Mhm.
Mandel
yeah.
had,
Mhm.
and
Did
what's her name
Gail-
who does the puppets with kids?
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, I can
blanking.
see your face.
Brian Bender's wife.
Um,
Anyway, she was on it. And he grows incredible shiitake mushrooms and a
Oh,
whole mushroom
right.
thing.
Oh,
So-
right. Anna?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, Anna.
yes, yeah. And so that was fun to go see his whole mushroom operation.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Now, there's
oh,
another
I
free
know.
thing would be, cause
Yeah.
just educational things like that. How do you grow mushrooms?
Right. Yeah, the shiitake, and Deacon Bonner, who lives in
Yeah.
town, has a whole shiitake mushroom operation at his, there are people in town doing this already.
Mhm.
He's my next door neighbor.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have 8 logs, but that's not really a big production.
what's big production?
Oh, I think they have greenhouses full of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You have
Okay.
to have them watered and,
We
I
could
just
have a talk and maybe, maybe even
Yeah.
would a wild mushroom walk be,
there are a couple people, Marianne had this one time, I think she had a mushroom walk.
Hmm.
This is ringing a bell. I think she had somebody who, we should ask her, because I think she
Yeah.
did have.
That would be like the fall, right? The seasonal, to do your seasonal idea, BZ, right? When that.
Yeah.
That'd be
And
nice.
I learned how to do my logs through Wim Levine, who he has he knows how to do the whole thing. And he's a mushroom grower. He grows a lot of different kinds of mushrooms. And, I could ask him if he would want to show
Mhm.
people how to do it or,
Great.
but he's sort of an old Yankee type. He might say, nah, I don't want to do that. But I can ask him.
Okay.
If I can just raise, I mean, when we ask people to do things like that, how are we deciding who we're going to pay and who we're not? Because
Well-
we're paying Zoe, right? But how is that different from asking somebody to teach people how to grow mushrooms?
It's a good
That's
question.
a good question. I mean, part of it is, I don't know if that's their livelihood. This is her livelihood. So
How
I
much
think
are we
that,
paying her?
350 is what we decided on last year. So that's what we're doing again this year.
Well, we
But
don't have to
maybe
do that
coming up
every
with
year either.
some, sorry, go ahead, BC.
Oh, I was gonna say, we don't have to do that every year.
No, we don't.
So we could put that 350 to somebody else.
Yes, and we could do like smaller amounts too, for people for whom this is not their livelihood, but just an honorarium as a way of saying thank you. And it could be $50, $75, $100, you know,
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
I was just gonna say, I like that idea of just coming up with some general guidelines for us parameters, and maybe if it's
Yeah.
something that's no host, then you know nobody's being compensated, like,
Mhm.
Right.
but
Right.
yeah.
No, that's a very good idea to talk about that. I mean, basically, when I first started and we talked about having the farm day and then Brian coming and there was something else, and I just asked Mary Ann, how much does she pay? And she said around $250. And then we had decided we wanted to pay Zoe a little bit more. So it's been somewhat unsystematic, but if we just were to have a table that says, here's what we pay different people, here's a range that we pay.
Yeah.
Would be good. We won't be having Brian back next year. He's quite expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So here's another thought as we're just talking about this. What about a cooking demonstration, like somebody who does Indian cooking in town or somebody, you know, like that would be a good winter thing, a big
yeah,
indoor
yeah.
thing. Anyway, just a thought, like have somebody cook something, you know, Persian food or, you know, something that you might not know how to cook would be sort of fun to have. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love
It
that.
would be. Or canning or making jams and jellies.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, things like that.
Elaine Paleo, I heard, is very good at that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and she's got a good kitchen for that kind of thing.
Which she can't, well, she's not letting us see today, so we can't. She's not putting it on display for us. Is
She's just
there a
very
way-
busy canning things in the background. That's just the
Is there
speed.
a way in these meetings that we can ever share a Google Doc? Because some of these ideas, it would be really fun if we could just come on the meeting and spend 5
Oh,
minutes.
yeah,
people
yeah.
could type things into a Google Doc
That's a fantastic idea.
to kind of try to capture all these ideas somewhere. I don't.
That's a great idea.
I always feel
Going
like this-
forward, we will have one.
oh, magically,
That's
it's
what
here.
our minutes are.
Yeah. Well, it's 5:01. So does anybody have any last minute things they want to add, suggest?
Next meeting,
Next meeting is the 4th Tuesday
27th.
in June,
June 27th.
June 27th. Okay. And so could someone move to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, just raise hands. And that was unanimous, so we are adjourned at 5:01 PM.
Okay, I better go.